everybody. Welcome back. It's Word Balloon Live. My voice is cracking. I must be 14 again. This is John Suntress, and I'm happy to welcome back one of my favorite guests, the man who gave us the comic book history of comics with Ryan Dunleavy, excellent runs on the Hulk and Hercules and so many other great Marvel books, Iron Man, and is working on the comic book history of animation currently, but is here today to be the quiz master for a Word Balloon Live quiz. It's Fred Van Lente, everybody. Welcome, Fred.
Hey, John. Great to be back.
Good to see you, buddy. Boy, you really enjoyed the last time when we were on with Ryan, and you peppered me with some great animation questions from an encyclopedia of animation. And you're like, "Hey, man, let's do it again." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And I thought about I should probably get somebody to play against. I'm like, I'll play against the audience. So what I'm going to do, everybody, is I'm going to look at the chat. I won't look at the chat until we have an answer. But Jack is here. Hey, John and Fred.
Hey, Jack.
Good to see you, Jack. Thank you for coming in. And what I'll do is I will keep the chat. I will not look at the chat as far as answers. I promise. And then when the if the answer is revealed by Fred, then we'll see who got it correct. So we'll do it that way. Here's some media comics though. An Englishman in San Diego. Hey man, good to see you.
Looking forward to that last Sunday.
Yeah, I know. Whenever that will be. So
it'll be Sunday.
I assumed it was I thought that was a San Diego thing or whatever. But does he do his podcast on Sundays, or are you guys scheduled? Very cool, man. That's awesome. Cheers, dude. I know I met you in one of the press cattle calls for some DC animation thing. Might have been The Killing Joke, something like that. But thanks for coming in, man. Good to see you. Good to see everybody else here. The League of Word Balloon listeners were well represented here on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, as well as Twitter via Periscope. Who knew? I'm like, how do people do videos on Twitter? And then I'm like, I didn't know Twitter bought Periscope.
On the Twitter app, actually, your live show is always positioned at the top of my live feed. Frankly, where a baseball game would usually be, but that's not an option at the moment. So.
I'm sorry. Are you watching Korean baseball?
Basically, it's 3 hours long, like it is here, and I taped one, and I literally spent the next 5 days
slowly watching
it inning by inning, and it was great.
I loved it. I think it's fascinating to watch.
The Americans they have doing the live, play by play is pretty great. They're obviously half asleep in their living rooms, since the game starts at 4 a.m. local time.
Fred, I don't know about you and I don't know about Crystal, but seriously, my sleep is all over the place. And I used to be able to say, well, it's because I have the overnight radio shift. Right. That hasn't been the case for the last 2 months. I haven't broken into the problem.
Until recent events, I've actually been sleeping like a babe. There was something distressing about not for people who have lost their jobs or in other forms of insecurity, Sure. For a working writer who spends all day at home anyway, it was almost relaxing to know everyone else was kind of on pause. So I was sleeping very well. Then, recent events happened.
Yeah.
That's gone away. But that's why we're hanging out here. I think that even everybody needs a break from time to time to do things that are trivial, even while you're fighting the good fight.
No, I agree, man. That's why. I certainly paused like a lot of media did yesterday, but also, I certainly recognizing the issues. I hope this is an entertaining distraction.
Yes.
And again, not to mitigate the horrible things that are happening across the country, and absolutely this issue needs to be met head on, and change needs to come. And obviously, we all, yeah, man. So, but all right, now Jack has a question about Korean baseball. Is it better than U.S. baseball? The way that some fans say college basketball is more fun to watch than pro ball. I would say no.
Well, I watched 1 million innings of United States baseball and 6 of Korean baseball, so I'm not really qualified to answer that question. I didn't see a difference because don't forget, there's lots of Latin American and American ball players in
Absolutely.
Seoul playing, or in Korea. The game I saw was in Seoul. So it's very similar. It's just that most of the guys are Korean, but they play really great baseball.
And absolutely. It is definitely great pro baseball, and also it is interesting. It's more interesting when the crowds are there, and they really do the songs and the chanting.
Except they did a great job. Whoever it is that owns that stadium hired a couple dozen people to jump up and down and scream like maniacs, and it sounds the same. They even don't cheer when the visiting team scores. You know what I mean? So it has that kind of home field advantage sort of feel to it.
I understand. I was watching Real Sports on HBO, and one of the American pitchers was saying it really is weird to play and not have the crowd sounds and even booing and stuff. He literally even misses booing. So, man. Oh, my gain is a tad high, says Stan Wade. I'm sorry, Stan. Can you hear me well enough, Fred? If I turn that, did that turn it down or did I turn it up?
You did it up.
It turned it up? Okay, I'm going to do. Is this better? Or do I need to be up higher?
I think that's the same, but I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask Jack. I'll tell you what. I don't have my earphones handy. Actually, I do. Hold on 1 second. I'll take care of that. That's no problem. Man, this is like bad radio right now. Neil Diamond 78 today. That's usually that's the go-to when the DJ needs to find something. They start reading celebrity birthdays and stuff. Now I am a little. Goddamn. All right. Hold on a second.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. All right, there.
That's good. That's good.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Hey, man. Seriously, that was awesome, Stan. I appreciate that. You're a good man. So thank you very much for that. And Jack. Okay. There we go.
Bill, thanks for kind words about Valiant. We may have a Valiant question or two in tonight's trivia. We'll see.
That's great. And seriously, people, if you have questions for Fred, we can do that as well. But do we want to do should we get to the quiz and then we'll chat afterwards? What do you want to
do? Sure. Let's do what you said. We'll do the quiz first.
Okay. So what's our category, Fred?
So I've got 4 categories here. I have a picture round, I have a mystery round, and I've got 2 sort of special rounds. And what I would say is, John, I would say we'll let the folks here chime in on the chat if they think they know the answer, but I won't respond to the chat answers. I'm only responding to you. So if you want to look at the chat and, if you're feeling if I actually stump you, which I think is unlikely, but we'll see.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, again, I think I was very lucky the last quiz you gave me. So we'll see.
Well, you have a broad. So I just to give you a back. So this is because I do pub trivia, or at least before we were all quarantined. I did pub trivia every week, and I've done it for years. And so I've always wanted to run my own. And so if you're drinking at home, if you do that, if you imbibe, please go right ahead. And unlike regular pub trivia, you are actually encouraged to shout out the answers. It is entirely up to John's self-control as to whether or not he.
I swear I will keep a blind eye to the chat until I have given up and Fred has revealed the answer, and then we can look and see who among you got it correct. I promise you, I can have that kind of focus.
So 4 rounds of word balloon trivia for you tonight, John. And the first round is, since this is the first time we're ever doing this, right? This is this formal word balloon trivia game. The first round is called Famous First Edition.
Ah.
This is Famous First Edition. This is the Famous First Edition of Word Balloon Trivia. So our first round is about famous firsts. I'm going to say 2 things, and you tell me which came first.
Ooh, okay.
In the flow of time.
Interesting.
Man Thing or Swamp Thing?
Ooh, that was so close. I'm going to say Swamp Thing.
Man Thing was May 1971. Swamp Thing came along 2 months later, July.
Wow. So fantastic.
I should probably score. Let me get a writing implement.
That is excellent, man. Oh, man. I love this already. So there we go. Oh, Jack got it wrong, too. Jack said Swamp Thing. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. It was a Man Thing, apparently. That's all right, Jack. See, you're not alone. I felt the same way. And really, it was like, because I do know. And, of course, the original swamp monster, the Heap, from the 40s.
That's right.
Later brought back in Eclipse Comics with Airboy, courtesy of Chuck Dixon and company back in the day.
And, of course, all of these characters, these creatures, are based on the same short story by Theodore Sturgeon called It! And Marvel actually did an adaptation of It, I believe, before they even brought up Man Thing. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. Shay, I got an idea. Why don't we take It and make it into something?
Hey.
Gerber, go ahead. Put the pot down and start
writing. More garbage superheroes. Excelsior! All right. Number 2, Supergirl or Batgirl? Which came first?
Oh, Supergirl.
What do you think? Guess this to the year's difference.
Ooh, that's a good one, too. Well, I remember the $1 million debut of Batgirl happened during the Batman 66 television show.
But that's not the first appearance of a Batgirl.
Oh, you're right. That would be. So you're talking about, yes, indeed, Kathy Kane's niece,
yeah,
Betty Kane.
That's April 61. Supergirl was August 58.
So once again, was Batgirl first?
No, you were right. Supergirl was first. August 1958. Batgirl was April 1961. That was the Robin love interest Batgirl. Not Barbara Gordon would appear 5 years after that.
I understand. I'm acknowledging answers even from the first one there because people it might be slow to make it to our chat, but that's awesome. And there you go, 58.
So here we have two cold-blooded Marvel villains.
Okay.
Lizard or Dragon Man, which came first? Dragon Man, of course, is Fantastic Four. The Lizard was Spider-Man.
Thank you. I'm going to say the Lizard.
I said that for the benefit of the audience. I assumed you already knew that. Yes, you are correct. Lizard was November 1963. Dragon Man was not until 1965 in February.
Excellent.
Which came first, Captain Cold or Mr. Freeze?
Ooh, okay.
There are so many cold-themed DC villains.
Yes.
They really should form a Serpent Society type.
And I know there was originally Mr. Freeze was called Mr. Zero.
That is correct. And I don't know if this is a hint or not, but I am counting the Mr. Zero appearance.
Then I would definitely say Mr. Zero came before Captain Cold.
You are mistaken, sir. Captain Cold was June 1957. Mr. Freeze, a.k.a. Mr. Zero, was February of 1959.
Oh, wow. Because I would have assumed it was like kind of Dick Sprang Batman era and earlier than, Shelley Moldoff, kind of Batman era and stuff. And, obviously, too, Captain Cold coming in as part of the Silver Age. I just kind of figured that, that it was...
That's right. Well, I guess by that date, he had to have been one of the first Flash villains, right, if he showed up in June 19.
So, you see, and Charlie and Jack were all incorrect. I understand. No. That's hilarious.
Remember, kids, they're only easy if you know the answer.
These are great, Fred. Keep going.
Thank you. Ernst Stalved Blofeld, James Bond's arch nemesis, was played first. Who played him first? Telly Savalas. And sorry, this is not the first person to play Blofeld. I am asking you which one of these actors played him first in a film.
Okay.
Telly Savalas or Donald Pleasance?
Donald Pleasance.
Correct.
You Only Live Twice. Yeah.
And Blofeld played him in?
On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Which was 1969. Well done, sir.
I don't remember and I was expecting to hear possibly the actor's name who played the voiceover Blofeld that we only heard in From Russia with Love.
I guess that's right. You Only Live Twice was the first time we actually saw Blofeld on camera. Is that right?
Yeah. Other than the hands petting the cat.
You don't see him in Thunder. I guess I'm thinking of the villain from Thunderball, who's not Blofeld, but has that kind of. Who's wearing like the Nehru jacket kind of and is very Blofeldy. Anyway, Hellcat or Tigra? Which came first?
Oh, that's a good one. Patsy Walker goes back to the 40s.
That is correct, but we are looking for Hellcat or Tigra.
Okay, so literally her character.
That's right. So I guess I kind of,
No, it's cool. No.
On my part, because I was counting Mr. Freeze. Of course, it didn't change the answer to the correct answer. Captain Cold regardless.
This is a blind guess, and I'm going to say Hellcat.
Incorrect, sir. Hellcat was February of 1976. She, of course, first appeared in the Avengers. It's confusing because that was Patsy Walker getting the outfit of the cat, who then fell into some cat people and became a tiger lady called Tigra, but she did that 2 years before in July 1974. So
that's fantastic.
Tigra
I love that.
So you are right now 3 for 6. You're
all right, 500. All right, then not bad. I'll take it.
Aired first, Scarecrow and Mrs. King or Remington Steele.
Man, these are so great, Fred. Seriously. Because, they are...
1980s rom-com-y spy TV shows.
Bruce Boxleitner, Scarecrow and Mrs. King with Kate Jackson, and Remington Steele, of course, Pierce Brosnan, and Stephanie... Zimbalist. Stephanie Zimbalist, that from Zimbalist Jr.'s daughter.
That's right. I loved Scarecrow and Mrs. King as a kid. I still have never seen an episode of Remington Steele.
I didn't know this. He's the same actor who played Professor Dent in Dr. No. That's very interesting about Blofeld. And the only reason why I put that up is because it wasn't an answer to the question. I am going to say Scarecrow and Mrs. King. No. Nope. God damn. That's awesome.
Mrs. King aired. The pilot was October 3rd, 1983. The Remington Steele pilot was almost a year previous at October 10th, 1982. So
that's outstanding.
One would assume the success of Remington Steele inspired Scarecrow and Mrs. King, perhaps. That tends to be how, And
Ryan is correct. Yes, Alfred's daughter is Stephanie Zimbalist, the lead in Remington Steele. Right. Man, I love, if we may, real fast as an aside on both shows. First of all, these are great, Fred. Honestly, I'm loving this. And again, because I appreciate a hard quiz. That's why when I play old movie quizzes with Tom King and the Benson sisters, we're playing, Silver Screen Trivial Pursuit. That ain't easy. So
I played Silver Screen a lot. It's hard.
And I love that. I don't want, I always see I'm so smart. It's like, no, man, let's be wrong. This is good. So I'm digging this. Keep going, buddy.
This one is comics fans. A lot of comics fans know this one, so I debated about even putting this on here. But two misfit superhero teams with wheelchair-bound leaders debuted in the same year, but which came first, the X-Men or Doom Patrol?
It was the Doom Patrol, I believe.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding.
My Greatest Adventure.
Number 80, which was June 1963. The X-Men came along 3 months later in September 1963.
There you go, man. Awesome.
So, as in the case of Man-Thing or Swamp Thing, just because we know how comics are made, these things came in too closely next to each other for them to have actually influenced each other. It's just one of those things that happen.
Do you remember the Italian artist's name of Doom Patrol that I know Gabe Hardman just adores? Bruno
Palmietti?
Permetti, something like that, yeah. Perfumi. Yeah. Shame on me.
So you are 4 for 4 at the moment, sir.
All right.
Which is not bad.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah, I love that artist, and I love the Doom Patrol.
Me too, man. Great. Did you see DC Universe? Have you seen the streaming show?
I saw the pilot, and I liked it quite a lot. I've stopped being a binger. I'm kind of beside myself now without having sports because I would be watching sports right now.
Me too, buddy.
I love Harley Quinn. I have watched.
Thank you, Gabe. Gabe was listening. Gabe's thank you, Gabe. God bless you. Good to see you, Gabe.
This may be important. Gabe is with us, so he may enjoy the next 2 rounds. So we're gonna start our second round. Is that cool, John?
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure, indeed. So I'm 5 for 9, or 4 for 4.
You're 4 for 8.
4 for 8. Cool.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Not bad. So I would be remiss as a professional person. It's this has been discouraged this week, and I totally get why. And I did not make the announcement on Tuesday out of respect for what was going on. But I had 2 books come out this week called Action Presidents. They've returned.
Hey, congrats! Absolutely, man. We've discussed these on previous ones.
Yep. So that's exciting.
Washington and Lincoln are those the?
And in 2 weeks, brand new ones that no one's seen before. Teddy Roosevelt and Jack Kennedy will be showing up, and these are middle grade books technically, but I believe these are absolutely the definition of all ages.
And then they're in that great format that you and Ryan have set up with, Action Philosophers and the comic book history of comics, and they're great. I know they're outstanding, and yeah, man. Honestly, we again go back in the archives, everybody, and check out the conversations I've had with Fred and Ryan about these books. They're exceptional. They're terrific books.
We did them in black and white a couple years ago. HarperCollins brought them back in color, and we're doing 2 more, so it's super exciting. So, as part of my crass promotional plug, round 2 is headlines from fictional presidencies, John. I'm going to read you some headlines of things that happened during the terms of some fictional presidencies, and you tell me who was the president.
Okay.
Before we embark, I must remind you that the category is fictional presidencies, not fictional presidents. So some of these people may have actually been president at some point in our world, but the headlines are for when their presidencies ventured into the realm of the fictional.
All right, fair enough.
Are you right? Are you ready? Headlines. Yes. The category of round 2 is headlines from fictional presidencies.
Fred, this is great.
Jefferson Pierce confirmed as Secretary of Education. Imperiex probes destroy Atlantean capital. Earthquake ravaged Gotham City, rejoins United States. Whose presidency would those events have happened under?
Run the headlines by me again, please.
Jefferson Pierce, confirmed as Secretary of Education.
Okay.
Imperiex probes destroy Atlanta's capital. Earthquake ravaged Gotham City, rejoins the United States.
Okay, that's President Lex Luthor.
That is President Lex Luthor, 100%. Fondly remembered. His presidential library, I believe, is in the shape of his giant bald head and is somewhere in Metropolis.
Who could be the historian for Luthor's presidency? Who on CNN would Michael Beschloss? Well, of course, let's not forget during the Luthor presidency that he had to contend with the contagion and.
That's right.
It's like Michael Beschloss.
We need John Meacham to talk about the crisis of faith during Luthor's second term.
Or Doris Kearns Goodwin. Well, my time at the Luthor presidency was very complicated. I love this, Fred. This is outstanding. I am so proud of you. This is amazing.
Let's keep it going then. These are headlines from fictional presidencies. Number 2, not sure, confirmed as Secretary of Interior and shit. Beef Supreme dies bitchin' death crushed by pillars and shit in Monster Truck Arena, and it was so freaking cool. Official U.S. motto changed to "It's what plants crave."
That is President Camacho from the movie. It's Mike Judge.
You got the president, so it counts.
Idiocracy.
Famously played by the great Terry Crews. That was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. His full name is President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho. Is the full name of that particular president.
I love that movie. That's a great movie. That movie, as people might know, totally got screwed because the studio regimes changed. And I literally saw it in the theater the 1 week that it was in the theaters in Chicago because I can't even remember who was hyping it. It might have been Mike Judge in an interview, and it's like, it's not going to be in theaters very long, so if you notice it, go see it immediately because chances are it probably won't be in the theaters the following week. And it wasn't. But it much like
Office Space.
Office Space, and also the Chris Guest movie, where The Big Picture, where Kevin Bacon is that stuff.
I'm thinking it for your consideration.
And I love that movie. That's a great movie.
Number 3 in headlines from fictional presidencies: nostalgia becomes highest selling perfume in U.S. Worldwide commemoration of Hiroshima Week begins. United States declares victory in South Vietnam.
That would be in my 4th term, President Nixon.
That is correct, from the graphic novel Watchmen. Those are all things that happened during President Nixon's 700 terms in office.
Isn't that, and really, is there much of a difference between President Nixon's 4th term and what we're experiencing today? I ask you.
Well, we're not winning any wars that I'm seeing.
That's right.
That'd be the main
I learned a lot from Nixon in his 4th term. Did a lot of reading. Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons, great book.
Right. Okay, here's groups. Oh, wow, I misnumbered my thing. I might have to.
No problem, Jack. Jack got that one right. Nice going, Jack.
Eagle Free confirmed as FBI director. Vice President Mom embarks on goodwill tour. Vampire on Wheels runs amok in White House.
This is a shot in the dark because I never really read the original run. Is it Prez?
It is. It's Prez. It all happened in the Joe Simon comic Prez, starring President Prez Rickard. Eagle Free was a Native American boy who he made head of the FBI. His mom was his vice president.
That was kind of my crew.
Both a werewolf and a vampire attacked him in the Oval Office. So Prez had a lot going on there during the
70s, yeah.
But I don't think, according to Wikipedia, he never actually completed his full term for whatever reason.
And shame on me, one of the interesting DCU books that came after the New 52, where they experimented for a year in various titles, they did a Prez reboot with a young lady as a president.
Yes.
And then also, and I also want to read Brubaker's Smells Like Teen Spirit from the mid-'90s, where he did a Prez redux.
Well, didn't Gaiman do a Sandman Prez one-shot as well?
Yep, absolutely. Yes, he did.
Headline grouping number 5. United States conquers last few nations, dominates world. Earth's warfleet near completion on moon. Heroes from alternate dimension defeat Overmind. This is the only semi-tough one, I would say.
Yeah, this is from an animated movie, I want to say, and Will Ferrell was the bad guy that turns he is Overmind, I believe, in that or whatever. I can't remember the name of the movie though, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, sir. Does anyone in the chat have a guess?
Oh, feel free, people in the Peanut Gallery, if you got that correct. Overmind. Overmind should be the telltale headline.
Or
Not yet.
Heroes from an alternate dimension. This is President Kyle Richmond. Who better as Nighthawk.
Of course.
Was president on Counter Earth America in the pages of the Defenders.
Yes.
This is a Defenders storyline.
Okay. Yes. So that wasn't a Squadron Supreme story. It was a Defender.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So the Defenders came to Counter Earth to save everybody. I guess that technically means they're not in an alternate dimension, since Counter Earth is just Earth, but on the other side of the sun.
And as Father Guido Sarducci told us about that Counter Earth, the only real difference is they eat corn on the cob like this, as opposed to this.
That's right. Our final group of headlines from fictional presidencies: Soviets blamed for destruction of Pittsburgh. Starchild destroys world's arsenal. President revealed as paranormal after assassination attempt.
Starchild.
Yeah.
Is that a Marvel New Universe reference? And I don't remember.
It is. Who
I don't
is president of the United States in the New Universe?
I couldn't say.
Ripped from our headlines. Remember, John, it was the world right outside our window. And right outside our window, who was president?
I don't know.
Ronald Reagan.
Well, it was Reagan. Oh, it literally was Reagan.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
These are fictional presidencies.
Of course.
Not fictional presidents.
That's hilarious. Don't worry, Jack. I love what Fred's doing, and honestly, I want to do more comic book trivia. I did do one where I quizmastered Jason Inman and Mark Andreyko a few weeks ago. So that is on the feed if people haven't seen that episode, and of course the movie trivia that we've done in the past as well. Hi, Helen.
Hey, Helen. So Jack, it's great you bring up movies because, as John knows, I got a little bit of pull in Hollywood. So I have a very special guest to introduce the next round of trivia. Mr. Brad Pitt. Mr. Brad Pitt from Hollywood, California. Mr. Brad Pitt, would you like to tell us what the next round is? And hopefully I'm not embarrassed. Hopefully you can actually hear this. I think I can do.
If you're sharing screen, and make sure it's share audio.
Did you hear that?
No, it's very barely. So is it just audio that we're listening to?
No, it is, but that's okay. I'm much more proud of what I came up with for the actual thing. So today's picture round, is What's in the Box?
Boom. It's right there. What's in the box, everybody? Very exciting.
In the box?
I like it.
So, John, just to clarify, I don't need to know what the box is. That I don't care about. I want to know what's in the box.
Fascinating.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
People at home ready? Well, I can't see the chat anymore. I can just see my little...
Oh, we got a good, steady audience. Everybody's ready. Continue.
Okay, here we go. Oh, crap.
You can swear. It's all right.
John, what's in the box?
What's
in the box?
Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, you don't know what's in that box?
Oh, I see. Excuse me. I didn't see that you did add it. There we go. Excuse me. Now I do see what's in the box. That would be the Ark of the Covenant in the box, sir.
No, sir. The Ark of the Covenant is the box.
It is the box.
What is the box? I'm going to look in the box.
Is it the original Ten Commandments then or something?
2 tablets, the 10 Commandments are in that box, correct. I also would have accepted Aaron's rod or a pot of manna, according to the book of Exodus. But yes, the 10 Commandments.
Yes.
We do Bible trivia here as well.
All right. I'm sorry. All right. I did not realize we were going to be doing photos. I am now prepared to show the second photo if you are.
Oh, yeah. No. This is the picture round. This is all photos.
Okay. So we're ready? Here we go.
You got the next one?
There it is. All right.
What's in the box?
The Tesseract is what it's called in the films, but, I mean, we know it as the Cosmic Cube.
That is correct, but that is again what
the box.
What is in the box?
I don't know what is technically inside the Cosmic Cube.
Do we want to give the peanut gallery a chance?
Sure, absolutely, man.
You read it off because I can't see the chat from here.
Well, John is saying history, but that can't hear. Let's see.
No, that's a line from Raiders.
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right, there you go. Yeah. Still doing Raiders stuff here. Helen, I appreciate that. There you go. Very nice. No, I guess the chat is being slow. So I mean, people.
There's going to be a lag on the chat, unfortunately.
Yeah. So no worries, folks. You can answer the question if you know what is inside the Tesseract or the Cosmic Cube.
Well, as you probably know, John, having seen the Avengers movies, one of the Infinity Stones is inside the Tesseract.
And John Hegenberger says it's the Time Gem.
Incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Not the Time Stone. Time Stone is what is in Doctor Strange's Eye of Agamotto.
Oh, that's right, the Eye of Agamotto. Yeah.
This, John, is the Space Stone.
Ah.
That is what is in the Tesseract.
Okay, and that makes sense because isn't that what transported the Red Skull to?
That's right.
Far off wherever the hell he was and everything, or as they call him in the movies, Red Skull.
My favorite thing about the Avengers is two people show up to get the Space Stone, and Red Skull tells them they got to sacrifice themselves. What happens if just one person shows up? Is it like, here's the gift shop? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Man, I cannot wait if they at all acknowledge Black Widow's death in the new movie, and then it's all flashback or how that's all going to. Honestly, I'm very curious. So, all right, we're ready.
Do you see box? We're ready for box number 3.
Box number 3. Here we go. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Yeah, that's. I'm assuming that's is just the cover of OMAC. Is that the last Jack Kirby DC comic of the Fourth World run?
I'm curious about the box that OMAC is throwing.
Excuse me.
That is the box I'm referring to.
All right. I'm leaning in. Wow, I have no idea what he's throwing there. Please.
That is a Build-A-Friend. Her name is Lila.
Wow. So is that like an LMD in the Kirby verse?
Sort of, except friendlier because it's a Build-A-Friend.
I like it. Interesting. I'll admit, shame on me. I don't know my Buddy Blank history as I should with OMAC and everything.
Fair enough. We're ready for the next box.
Yes, sir. I don't even know what that's from. It's obviously it's from Italy because it says Fragile.
That's right.
This end up. It's in color, so it can't be the Brad or it can't be Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Well, you said you correctly identified it already.
Oh, is it from A Christmas Story or whatever? Is that the box with the leg in it?
What is in the box?
The leg lamp that
leg lamp is what we were looking for. Thank you, John. Excellent. Yes, I would have also accepted a major award.
Darren McGavin is like the secret weapon of that movie.
Oh, he's
so fantastic.
He's amazing. A Christmas Story is a classic. We watch it ad nauseum on
Absolutely.
TBS. Ready for the next box?
All right. Okay. Here's the next one. Is that
what's in the box?
Yeah. Is that Magicians Now You See Him movie? Is it the Four Magicians?
It is not.
Oh, it's from Batman '89, and is it the Joker's little prop deal? So the Joker must be inside there.
Closer, but you are still mistaken. That is from Batman Returns.
Oh,
which is set during Christmas.
Right. So that's Batman Returns was either the Penguin. It was probably the Penguin.
It was the Penguin's gang, which was called the Red Triangle Gang.
Ah.
So what is in the box is the Red Triangle Gang.
I like it. Too many villains in the subsequent Batman movies. It should be one hero, one villain. Very simple.
I don't disagree, except when one of those villains is Christopher Walken, and that is why Batman Returns is the greatest Batman movie. I will.
Ooh, I like that.
I will accept no substitutes.
That's fantastic, Fred. That reminds me of like Art Baltazar's argument where he's like, "Look, Superman 4 is absolutely a horrible movie. However, there are a million good things in Superman 4," and he will list them, and it's like
I don't think I've ever seen Superman 4 all the way through.
There are some like legitimately decent moments in Superman 4, as cheaply as it was made, and all the problems that it has and stuff. It's like yeah, I won't even spoil it, Fred, because I'll tell you, if you're a Superman fan, there are significant moments in Superman 4 that it's like, No, something actually happens in the Superman mythos in 4 that isn't a bullshit scene, and also just the weirdness of like Sam Wanamaker, one of my favorite character actors, buys the Daily Planet, and it's kind of an American Rupert Murdoch, and buying the Planet, the Daily Planet and stuff, and there's just some interesting key scenes. So
that's awesome.
There you go. Oh, and Gabe Hardman agrees about Batman Returns.
Thank you, Gabe.
I like it. And
I knew Gabe would have my back.
And Helen, oh man, Helen, better with Bible stuff. Well, there you go. We should do the Joe Kubert Bible that he wrote for the Treasury Edition size DC.
Well, we have. I definitely it would be blasphemous to call it Bible stuff, but we do have more religion stuff coming next.
Ooh, I like it. Stand by. All right, next box. Well, it's some sort of Grecian urn.
John, what's in the box?
Yeah. Oh, I'll guess and say Wonder Woman. the essence of Wonder Woman or whatever.
That is Pandora.
Oh, Pandora's box. So it's all the evils of the world, of course.
And, of course, Hope was the last thing in it before she got...
I forgot about Hope. All right.
Hope is in there as well. Number 7. This is my favorite. What's in the box, John?
Ooh. Oh, that's Ralph from Ralph Hinckley from The Greatest American Hero. And isn't it? Oh, no, God.
It is not.
All right, I got it. Literally, sometimes I have to take
I thought you were going to say Ralph Meeker.
Oh, that's hilarious too.
It would be closer, but still wrong.
I don't know, Fred. Tell me.
So this is from a film called "Kiss Me Deadly."
Oh, sure. Go on.
1955.
Yes, sir.
Inside the box is a nuclear weapon.
Yes, of course. A fantastic Mike Hammer story.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And is it Ralph Meeker that's?
Is Hammer.
Yeah, he's Hammer. Though that's terrific.
Character actor, but yeah, this is. I do not know the name of this actress or the name of the character, but this is the final.
Stan got that one correct. Atomic Radiation. Very good, Stan.
They spend the entire movie. This is obviously inspiration for the suitcase in Pulp Fiction, the Tarantino movie. They spend the entire movie with this MacGuffin trying to get this box. No one will open it until she does, and she blows up, and literally the film burns. That's how severe this. So it's the only hard-boiled, film noir movie I am aware of that ends in nuclear holocaust.
I think you might be right about that. That's amazing. And Helen knew that one. Of course, Gabe knew that one. Very good.
Very nice.
Hilarious.
Very nice.
I like it.
The last question is what's in the box.
And Stan got it right. Go on.
We're ready for the next box.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, indeed. Sorry. Oh, there we go.
What's in the box? What's in the box, John?
Well, obviously, it's somebody in the penalty box, and I'm trying to think of what the significance might be beyond hockey that we're seeing, because it's not. I don't believe that's Slapshot.
You notice the C.
Oh wait, that's Michael whatever. So isn't that from Slapshot?
Nope. That's a real. This is a shot from real life. This is not a movie.
Okay. Well, I'm horrible with my hockey, so please tell us who.
That is Mr. Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, that's Gretzky.
That's Gretzky in the penalty line.
Wow, right. That's a rarity.
But not bad. You got knocked back on your heels a bit after crushing it in the President's rounds.
That's okay.
I've not added up your score yet.
I'm sure it ain't pretty.
So we got 2 and 6 for the 5 and 1 on President. So you crushed it there. 9 and 5. So oh my God, John. Oh my God.
How am I doing? Not good.
You are 11 for 11. You are 11 and 11. You're 11.
I'm batting 500. All right, I like it.
You are still 500. That means it's anyone's game, and by anyone's game, I mean your game, since you're the only one playing. But now we go into the final round. This really, John, this is make it or break it. I'm pulling for you though. This is a mystery round, John. Ooh. It's a mystery round. I'm going to ask you 9 seemingly unrelated questions. The 10th question is, what is the theme? There's a mystery theme to this round.
Okay,
so all of the answers, if you look at them in toto, all indicate a particular theme. And so the final question, even though I'm not going to read it, you should know is, what is the theme?
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
For our mystery round.
Very exciting.
Question number 1. What 15th century superhero's secret identity was Flying Stag of the Wolf Clan, an Iroquois warrior who gained his powers from a meteorite he called the Manitou Stone?
Super Chief is my guess.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. The correct answer.
I have a Chris Samnee Super Chief sketch, and it is one of my favorite pieces of art.
An underrated Gardner Fox creation.
Indeed.
Super Chief.
Bison head mask, as I recall.
That's right. You're looking for Super Chief. Number 2. Who wrote all 50 issues of the Marvel series Darkhawk, which Marvel published between 1991 and 1995?
Yeah, that's my blind spot, but it's okay. Darkhawk. I'm going to guess... I'm
going to give you a hint. He was more known as an editor. He was not really known as a writer.
That's what I was going to guess, Jim Valentino.
No. So close. Not really. I don't know why I said that.
Who was it?
Marvel. Danny Fingeroth.
Oh, Jesus. That's amazing.
Danny Fingeroth.
I've had Danny on the show several times and intend to have him back. But I can't. You were a student of his? Did you say? What did you say?
No. I was never. I'm too old to have been a student. Sadly, I know him very well. He's a great dude.
He's an awesome dude. I've had him on the show several times, and we've never discussed Nighthawk because that was during my blind spot. I didn't know he was.
I think that's what most people would know him for, I guess, other than editing the Spider-Man line. But
yeah.
But anyway,
good guy. Yeah.
We'll stick with the 90s. The 90s questions. Here's number 3.
My kryptonite. Go on.
In Valiant Comics' Unity time travel crossover, the 20th century Harbinger characters Torque and Chris Hathaway were revealed to be the parents of what hero from the future?
Yeah, I have. I'm so embarrassingly bad with my Valiant. I can't even muster a guess.
John, can you name a Valiant hero from the future, from the 90s?
Yeah, well, all right, from the future, from the 90s.
Perhaps even from the year 4000 AD.
Oh, is it... No, I was going to guess Exo Man of War, but he's the Roman that's got the spacesuit. Okay, is it not Turok? Obviously,
it was originally published by Dell.
Is it Mangus Robo Fighter?
That's correct. I'm going to give it to you anyway. Why not?
Oh, that's all right.
We're feeling better.
I mean, it took Dr. Solar. He's guessing Dr. Solar, Jack.
That's a different Dell. Gold key.
Yes, he wasn't from the future, but yeah, was it Mangus? Robot fighter.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Question number 4. We're shooting forward to the modern era.
Okay.
What Spider-Man villain gained his powers at the same time and with the same drugs that created Cloak and Dagger? Created by Dan Slott and Phil Jimenez. The brand new day era.
Mr. Negative?
Oh, correct. And of course you know that, John, because we all know who wrote the origin story to Mr. Negative.
I believe it's the gentleman we're talking to right now.
You're talking to him right now.
The Quizmaster, absolutely.
That's
yes,
right.
indeed.
That's
I
right.
do, and I must say, truly, of the newer Spider-Man, the newer Spider-Man villains, I am a big fan of Mr. Negative. I think.
And I'd say I wrote the issue, but the origin was all Dan's and Dan's.
Oh, I understand, but also, did Charles use him in Daredevil, Mr. Negative? Charles Soule?
Probably. We used him in Herc. He's a big villain in Christos Gage's the PS4 Spider-Man game.
Oh, that's great. Look at Helen. Ask about Flash Gordon. Buster Crabbe, old people. Helen, I had the pleasure of meeting Buster Crabbe when I was 13, around that same time he had done that Buck Rogers episode as Colonel Gordon, which I absolutely adore. It's like the best 30 seconds of any Buck Rogers because he's teaming up with the original Flash Gordon. And it's great. And he's like, hey, Gordon, that's some good shooting and flying. I don't, whatever. And he goes, I've been flying way before your time, son. Of course, Buck Rogers for 500 years in the past. He's like, oh, you think so, huh? And of course, Flash Gordon goes, son, I know so. And it's like, yeah.
Alan, we'll get some more people questions on you for your next time, I promise. We want to be an inclusive.
And also, Alan, I hope you watch Scene Missing, my chats with Will Pfeiffer and Hilary Barta, where we talk about a ton of black and white movies that we adore. And I just posted a trailer for it. I think I accidentally sent it to Fred instead of the link for tonight's broadcast.
It looked good. I'm going to watch it now. The trailer did its job. John, question number 5. What Dutch candy, when added to a carbonated liquid, accelerates the release of carbon dioxide to such an extent that on an episode of Mythbusters, the resulting geyser from a Diet Coke bottle was 34 feet high? 34 feet high.
That is Das Freshmacher Mentos.
That is correct. Mentos, the freshman.
Yep. So you're killing me, man. That's outstanding. Jack got it right. Mentos, very good, Jack. Helen got it right. Mentos, absolutely, man.
So
let's get some Diet Coke and Mentos and drop our pants and fire off a Mentos rocket, if you will. So in the words of Dunham.
So we're halfway through. And at the end, I will be asking you for the thing.
Yeah. All right.
Question number 6. When Marvel's Amazing Adventures book started in 1970, Black Widow and the Inhumans shared it. But which pre-existing hero took over as sole lead feature as of number 11? What hero took over Amazing Adventures issue 11?
It's a guess, but I'm going to guess Killraven.
Afraid not.
Oh.
He was a pre-existing hero. He was an X-Man.
An X-Man. Was it Cyclops? I have no idea.
Same era as Cyclops.
Sure. Cyclops. But it was a solo. It was a solo X-Men that had the title.
And before he was human-like, but as a result of that strip, he got blue fur all over his entire body.
Of course. Yes. The Beast, of course.
The Beast is the correct answer.
Yes.
Number 7. Atari introduced what video game to arcades in 1981 as a 3D update of Space Invaders, and was also the nickname of the lead character's older brother in the DC Comics series Atari Force?
Oh God! And I was because shame on me. I never read Atari Force like an idiot. Jerry Conway.
Video games.
Yeah, I did play video games. That was so space. It was an updated Space Invaders.
It was. It's named after because of course it was. It's named after a Shakespeare play.
Named after a Shakespeare film.
Play.
Yeah. Play rather Shakespeare play.
I mean, you don't know it wasn't.
Shakespeare play. So it's not. Is it Titus? I don't know.
Tempest.
Tempest. Of course.
Tempest is the. So you are up. So that last 3 questions are going to make or break you because you are 1 up at the moment.
All right. Interesting.
And unfortunately, this is probably the hardest question in the entire quiz.
I like it then already.
What comic strip ran for 40 years beginning in 1928, featuring the original Snoopy Girl reporter character that is considered to be the model for Lois Lane?
Who's the little chatterbox? That'd be Little Orphan Annie, sir.
Incorrect.
Oh, no, it's Brenda Starr, isn't it? It's Brenda Starr. Probably.
This character predates both of them.
Wow. Then I even love it more, this question, then. So who else would be a great reporter? Was it Torchy Smith?
Have you heard of Jane Arden, Girl Reporter?
I've never heard of Jane Arden, Girl Reporter, and I'm thrilled.
Google it. She was a big deal. She lasted in the late 60s. Some guy drew Jane Arden.
We don't know?
As far as I know. Well, we do know. I don't know.
Okay.
Off the top
That's awesome.
I have to look it up.
Or I think, was her name Torchy Smith? There's a series of programmer kind of like, like Sherlock Holmes or Charlie Chan or whatever, of a woman reporter, and it's either Torchy Smith or Torchy Dan. Not
I'm sure you're right, but I think it was 30s. Well, bottom line is, John, when you come up with theme questions for the mystery round, sometimes you've got to go outside your knowledge.
I respect that.
These that fit the theme. But
I have no idea how.
Her Wikipedia page is quite extensive, so all
right, I like it.
You will learn all you wish to know from that page.
Yeah.
And here is the last question. The question.
No, okay, so this is 9.
And after that is
the tough one, yes, sir.
Question number 9, and I should say you are now down by 1.
I was going to say I'm definitely under 500, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, beloved actress Holly Hunter. Holly Hunter has, believe it or not, only voiced 1 animated character in her entire career. Can you name that character?
Didn't she do Lois in a movie? I guess not. This is
an original character. It's a character original to animated films.
Oh.
I'm gonna stall to see if the chatters can help you out.
Okay, and by the way, Jack tells me that Torchy Smith is the character from the films. Yeah, TCM shows her movies, and they're fun. They're very Lois Laney. Holly Hunter. Oh, and she was in an animated movie.
The chatters have given us a.
Oh, of course. Shame on me. I know. Elastigirl.
That's correct.
I didn't even look at the chat. I swear to God.
Correct.
I swear to God, I did not look at the stuff and everything. So
we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus. Wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so you're actually up by 1, I think.
Okay.
So actually, it doesn't. You'd still win even if you didn't guess the theme correctly. But I'm going to guess you are going to guess the theme correctly.
So there's Elastigirl.
Let's just go through the. Let's go through the answers.
Yeah.
Super Chief. Danny. Fingeroth.
Right.
Magnus Robot Fighter. Mr. Negative. Mento. Beast. I don't know. What was the Beast before he was a Beast Man? Beast Boy. Tempest. That's the tricky one. Jane. I had a tough time coming up with Jane questions. But Elastigirl is kind of a no-brainer because, of course, the Chief, Danny the Street, Robot Man, Negative Man, Mento, Beast Boy, Tempest, Crazy Jane, Elastigirl are all members.
Oh, it's the Doom Patrol. Of course.
And
yes, indeed. Jack
got it like 6 questions ago.
All right, and Gabe, by the way, got it correctly as well.
That is right.
Oh my God, I did not even think of that. Of course not.
So that's amazing. So you are dead. You batted 500 for this quiz. That's impressive.
Thank you, Stan. Apparently, Torchy Blaine, but also Stan correctly. Very good, Stan. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you got it right. No, that was awesome. That's fantastic. Does that flip over all the cards?
Yeah. So that was fun. That was good.
That was excellent.
Well. That was good.
Fred, that was amazing. Seriously, man, you put some serious thought in that shit. God damn.
Except for the picture round, that was good radio, is what that was. That was good radio. That was good radio. I
advise, yes. It'll be very interesting if the comments that I get. Yeah, way to go, John. And that you're right about that, but that's okay. That's hilarious. That's outstanding. And also,
because there are so many obvious Jane. I could have gone with.
Did not even think of
Tarzan or something.
Yeah, God, it was not even thinking. So wait a minute, Beast Man. Who's that in the Doom Patrol?
I was leading you towards Beast Boy.
Oh, of course, Beast Boy. Of course, shame on me.
Trying to.
I understand. All right, now I understand. Yeah. Well, if you'd included a Mickey Dolenz question about his television show when he was a child, and it would have been Circus Boy. I don't know, or something, or Tarzan's younger apprentice, of course, boy before he was.
Well, I was aiming more towards the Beast part of it.
I understand. No.
I thought Mento would be the dead giveaway, but that is a character who is unknown outside the Doom Patrol.
I understand. Hilarious.
Elastigirl's husband and Beast Boy's surrogate father.
Rita.
But yeah.
Dude, you got to see the series on DC Universe because
I really like the pilot.
And the woman that plays Elastigirl, in fact.
She's great.
Well, and honestly, she was really funny on 2.5 Men.
Okay.
And it's a total 180 of a different character.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, this is a really good actor. And I'm like, shame on me for just appreciating her natural aesthetic, as it were.
She's got range.
And yeah, man, I mean, that's the thing. She really does have range. And it's like, she is letter perfect as Rita. I mean, I never would have even reading it have expected that kind of Bette Davis kind of tough, leading woman kind of character the way she was
Yeah, it's very clever introducing that character in what is otherwise essentially the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Yeah, and also they even, there's a nod to Kupperberg's 70s characters as well.
Sure. Of which Tempest is one.
Well, of course. Yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
He was in the Doom Patrol in the Morrison year, but then he went by his real name, which I currently forget.
Yeah. No. You're right. Honestly, I love that show, and I'm glad that it's now on HBO Max, although I can't get access to HBO Max.
You can't?
Well, I guess if I really just wanted to watch it on my laptop, I suppose I could. Although I would like to think that because I subscribe to HBO via Xfinity, that I get some sort of discount or deal. And if not, that kind of sucks. And
Well, I subscribe to DC Universe my business partner, Mr. Ryan, got very upset with me because I was just like, because the Max Fleischer Supermans fell into public domain a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
And so they're cut up. There's 700 different versions of them on YouTube and various other places.
Yes.
But the ones on DC Universe are just crisp. They have all the credits. They are complete. They look terrific.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
hold up.
That's great to hear, Fred, honestly, because, again, like you
right.
said, I've seen him a million times, even on over-the-air cartoon shows, because they fell into public domain.
Yeah. They're only 7 minutes long, and there's 17 of them, so you can sit there and watch them.
Absolutely. Well, and also, but both Bud Collyer and I forget who plays Lois are so great in it. And Bud Collyer, I mean, the radio show is kind of tough because it is made for kids, and it's from the 40s.
I'm not a Superman fan, but I would say that's my favorite version of Lois is in the Fleischer cartoons because you watch it and she just has a toddler's knack for self-destruction. Like and it's not like she's like, oh, Superman will save me. No, she uses a beeline for her own death.
Yep.
Like, you really wonder how she lasted this long before Superman showed up. Because this impression she'd be doing it anyway, even before he arrived. So
yeah, she was fearless.
She is hands down the
quintessential Lois. Yeah, I would agree.
Who was Tempest? You mean who was he was a character who had he had like that's Celsius. I forget what his powers was. He had like beam powers.
He had what kind of powers?
He could like shoot beams out of his hand.
Yeah, it was like weather. They were like weather powers or whatever, essentially, as I remember.
But he was a doctor. That was his day job, and so when he was so I know him as the team doctor on the Morrison Doom Patrol when he basically stopped using his powers.
Yep. Helen Marshall asks, answer is Maureen O'Sullivan. What's the question? I believe that would be who played Jane in the Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan films, Helen. That's my guess that I'm assuming you're going for.
I'm going to grab my growler while we're chatting. I'll be right back.
Oh, by all means, my man. Absolutely. Mate. I don't know what that means, Stan, but I like it. What do you think, guys? Come on. Fred really outdid himself with, I think, this category. I think it's awesome, man. And truly, I'm embarrassed, Fred, in terms of how much effort you put in. I'm thrilled that I only got 500 right because those are hard questions. And I'm thrilled to be wrong and then make the mistakes that I made. That's wonderful. But yeah, isn't that crazy? I thought Ralph Meeker in Kiss Me Deadly was Ralph Hinckley opening the box that had his suit from Greatest American Hero.
And all right, Helen says, and again, it wasn't Ralph Meeker. It was the female lead. Now, granted, it's a washed out photo because she's currently being irradiated to death. In the still, but
right. Absolutely, man. Much like Mike Nagan when he broadcast with me with Art and Franco, and as I was telling you before we were recording, he always has his window open and it's like sunset, and it's like, hey, guess what? Right behind me, it's the sun. Everybody making a little guest appearance. Isn't that terrific?
That's right.
So
hilarious. I just have the poster from the Las Vegas production of Geek, which is one of my wife's books.
That's excellent, man. Now, Crystal Skillman, Fred's wonderful wife, an amazing playwright. And, of course, Fred and I have talked about this before, that he and Crystal did King Kirby, a very great Jack Kirby stage bio play and everything. That's really cool. Yeah. So everything else going okay? Yes, indeed. Let's promote Fred's books. Action Presidents, the Washington and Lincoln volumes came out this week.
Out now.
And in 2 weeks, 2 more Action President books coming out, Teddy Roosevelt and JFK. And that's fantastic. And they're in that classic Action Philosophers, comic book history of comics format. So if you're aware of Fred and Ryan Dunleavy's wonderful work, you'll enjoy those. And I think your children will enjoy them. And they're edutainment, as Chris Newsman used to say.
They are truly all ages. And this week, Ryan and I banged out the first issue of Comic Book History of Animation, which all of the Kickstarter backers got.
Excellent.
You got your copy, sir?
Excellent, indeed. Thank you. That's wonderful.
Awesome. What else? You do a lot of random stuff.
Are you doing? Yeah, I mean, you got stuff brewing. New stuff in the hopper.
Yeah, just picked up a new work for hire thing this week, which is in a genre I enjoy, so that'll be fun.
Cool.
I think things are starting to start up with the whole the comic history is slowly but surely starting to rev up again.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and again, Fred, you're in New York. I'm in Chicago. We've certainly had some turmoil happening in our streets the last few days, and understandably so. And I hope our little broadcast today is a nice little distraction for everybody, and they enjoyed it.
Little de-stressing pressure valve.
Yeah.
You need that every once in a while.
Honestly, Fred, I said this before and I meant it. I would love to have you and Crystal on to talk, just great plays or whatever. I just finished Jimmy Cagney's autobiography that was written in the 70s, I believe. Cagney by Cagney. And that was really fascinating because he spoke a lot about his stage work as well as his films. And it was really great to read him dismiss a lot of mid-level Cagneys that I think if you were to look in any sort of old movie thing, oh, that was wonderful. And he's like, yeah, not really. There's a movie that he and Betty Davis did called The Bride Came COD, and it's very much like that Harrison Ford, Anne Heche movie. Wasn't that not Runaway Bride? I forget what it was. 6 Days and 7 Nights or whatever the fuck it was called. I can't.
You lost me at Anne Heche.
I understand, and but it's totally like formula. He's got to deliver a woman to marry somebody, and then, of course, they have this long road trip, and they fall in love and all this stuff.
That's how Crystal and I met. This fun fact. I was in a box. She opened it. She was like, eh. Doesn't really match the catalog photo, but I don't feel
It'll do, I guess.
Take it back to the UPS place and put more stickers on it. Screw it. You're staying.
But they had no chemistry, Betty Davis and Jimmy and Cagney even said, he's like, yeah, he goes, she's a great actress, but we just didn't click, on screen. It just didn't happen. Although an earlier Betty Davis movie that I saw that was amazing, the original Kid Galahad, later made into an Elvis Presley boxing vehicle. Okay. But this was with Edward G. and Betty Davis, and that is just fantastic. And I would recommend both versions. So just throwing it out there.
Yeah, nothing's going to beat White Heat for me. I really like Yankee Doodle Dandy, but I think White Heat just...
Well, even White Heat, he's like, White Heat was fine, but, he goes, nothing really inspiring. He goes, and people ask me, did I really have to work myself up to do the whole top of the world moth thing? And he's like, not really. He goes, it's acting. It was very matter of fact. And, he was very proud. He was more proud of his musical stuff. And, Helen, I'm sorry to say, I don't remember what he said about Footlight Parade, but he really talked a lot about dancing and, in fact, said that's how he stayed in shape, even into his 70s. And when he did the West Point Story, he was around late 40s or 50, and he really hurt himself doing it for the moment. And they're like, his knees were all swollen and stuff. And he's like, no, that's, you got to work to do this stuff and do it right. He goes, so it was very interesting. But yeah, that's how he stayed in shape, was just literally dancing all the time, even at home and stuff.
The problem with a lot of that stuff with White Heat and everything else is he's so much better than everyone else on screen. Particularly White Heat, there's ostensibly this Fed or undercover cop who's pursuing him, but the guy is such a drip, and it's like, who cares? You're rooting for Cagney. He's going to blow up at the end, but it's like you're rooting for him the whole time, and it's rough sometimes when you get those contract studio players. I would also put Betty Davis in that category, who tends to be so much better than anyone else in
absolutely.
in the movie.
Yeah.
It does lessen. I can I don't know if this is necessarily what Cagney was saying. He's probably too much of a gentleman to come out and say it. Is that I think that does actually depreciate the value of the films, because everyone else is just kind of sleepwalking through the movie, and you just have this incandescent spark bouncing all over the place.
I'll take your word for it, Helen. Shaking a little number, great tap dance work. That's cool. Regarding both Cagney and Robinson and having lesser actors, it is fun seeing Bogey in all these movies as the gangster, the villain, or whatever, prior to Maltese Falcon and Casablanca, when they finally recognized he could be a leading man. And yeah, man, those are just so much fun to watch. And God, one of my favorites of Robinson that was remade into Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg.
Sure.
Do you know the movie I'm talking about? Brother Orchid?
Yeah.
I love that movie. I absolutely love it.
I just saw Key Largo for the first time.
That's a great movie too,
It's
man.
a case of two great actors bouncing off each other for the whole.
And at that point, obviously, both were respected, and it was, that whole cast. Lionel Barrymore is there. Hell, Jake Silverheels, Tonto himself, is one of the immigrant guys in Key Largo. Yeah, I'm a massive.
I think they are. I think they actually are Indians in Key Largo.
Oh, I wasn't sure if they were Native Americans or not.
Yeah, they are Native Americans in Key Largo.
Okay,
because they're like in bumfuck Florida somewhere.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah. Sure, that would make sense. Certainly.
Yeah. I just saw the movie, so
I love it.
The female lead was really good in that movie too.
Yeah, and it wasn't Martha Heyer. I forget. No, it's definitely not Martha Heyer. God, you know what I saw for the first time? But this is good. I'm glad this is like broken into a small bit of scene missing. I was watching 3 of my favorite westerns last night. Sons of Katie Elder. I love that grouping. Okay. It's John Wayne, Dean Martin, Earl Holliman from Police Story, and I forget who plays the kid. Who cares?
I don't think I've seen that one. I'm not a John Wayne guy, so I've not seen a lot.
It's a mid-'60s classic, honestly, for Western, and I am fascinated more about the number of Westerns Dean Martin made. And really, Katie Elder and Rio Bravo are 2 of John Wayne's best films. And Dean Martin, and Dean Martin's the number 2 in both of them.
That's a great movie.
And it's like, God, I mean, there's like the most unlikely duo on screen, and they're fantastic together.
I think I may be confusing Rio Bravo with Red River.
Red River's Monty Clift.
That's Montgomery Clift. That's one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, that's a tremendous movie.
Yeah.
Well, and even the incongruity of little Monty Clift having a fist fight with John Wayne and holding his own, and the way they shot it, that it's like it doesn't seem as improbable as you. Wait a minute, let me get the tail of the tape on that. Are you nuts? I mean, really? I can step on you, kid.
And speaking of Edward G. Robinson co-stars, so I watched The Shaggy Dog last night on Disney Plus because it is the film that made Disney stop making animated movies for the most part, because it cost a third of Sleeping Beauty and Shaggy Dog came out the same year.
Yeah.
And Sleeping Beauty cost a butt ton of money, and Shaggy Dog did not. And Shaggy Dog was one of the highest grossing films in 1959, and Sleeping Beauty bombed. And so Disney laid off 3/4 of its animation staff.
Wow.
So that was a big massacre at Disney. That was even bigger than the strike, the massacre. And
sure.
And what had just been invented a few years before, not really invented, but perfected and proliferated, were Xerox machines, Xerox technology. And so they replaced almost the entirety of the ink and paint department with Xerox machines.
Wow.
Once Ulrich figured out how to Xerox onto cells, directly onto cellulose, that was all over celluloid, excuse me. But anyway, it's not a good movie, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. And I always thought, for some reason, that Fred McMurray was the Shaggy Dog. But he's not. He's dad.
Not. That's right. Tommy Kirk is the Shaggy Dog.
And that kid's good. The kid who plays his younger brother is terrific. And it's a really fun movie. It's a really fun, like, G-rated werewolf movie, essentially, is what it is.
Yeah. You know, poor Tommy Kirk. Do you know the whole, like, backstory, sadly, about Tommy Kirk?
No.
He was a gay gentleman, and he may still be alive. And forgive me for putting him in past tense if he is still alive. I think he might actually be. In the mid-'60s, he was in a swimming pool and got handsy with another boy, and the mother found out. And the mother totally exposed him, and it killed his career. And that's why he went from Disney movies to, remember Village of the Giants with Beau Bridges and Ronnie Howard, and Tommy, I believe, is in that as well. And it's like a weird, like, Bird-Eye Gordon monster film.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
That, and also he made AIP surfer movies with the same crew that made the Frankie and Annette movies. He did a couple of those.
And that Boone was in The Shaggy Dog.
Yes, yeah, and you know, another Tommy Kirk movie that's on Disney Plus that I love is Merlin Jones with Tommy and Annette Funicello, and I believe, isn't that the movie where the Beach Boys and Annette do a duet? And it's like, holy shit, it's the Beach Boys and Annette Funicello, and it's actually a decent little pop song.
John, there's only so much I'm going to do for research for this book. All right, I will watch The Shaggy Dog.
I understand, and obviously the connection of it killing the animation department. No, I'm excited.
There is a musical number in The Shaggy Dog. I do not think it's by the Beach Boys. No. I can think of.
I might look this up while we're talking, but honestly, Fred, no, I did want to ask, as you guys are making, and I don't know, I mean, that's a great little factoid. Would you give us another little factoid that surprised you in your research in terms of what you're doing for the comic book history of animation?
Boomerang sucks. Don't get
Boomerang, the TV network?
Streaming service.
Yes, it does suck because they don't show the old stuff anymore. Drives me crazy.
They have a lot of old stuff on the streaming service, but the interface is impossible.
Oh, do they still show all the superhero stuff that they used to show in the 60s on Boomerang? Because I didn't see it listed.
No, I guess you're right. No, you mean like Space Ghost and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Galaxy Trio, Space Ghost, Frankenstein Jr.
Honestly, if it's not like one of their top characters like Scooby-Doo or the Flintstones or the Bugs Bunny, they don't even have some of the great rando Looney Tunes shorts like the Aristocat, which is a very historically important cartoon because I know all of you watching this all went to sleep the minute I said historically important, but the use of backgrounds in the Aristocat is very sophisticated and really anticipates a lot of innovation in animation over the 40s. The Aristocat's 43.
I misspoke when I said Merlin Jones was the film with the Beach Boys and Annette. It's The Monkey's Uncle, and they sing the title track together. Annette and the Beach Boys perform, and it's seriously.
How dare you? How dare you?
Dude, I'm happy to be wrong again, much like the quiz. But it's honestly, it's weird shit like that. You know what else I've been finding on YouTube that I love? Completely unrelated. A lot of the Johnny Cash and Glenn Campbell shows that they did, their half-hour variety shows, there are some incredible duets. There's a Bob Dylan Johnny Cash duet from his show.
Okay.
And Linda Ronstadt and Johnny Cash, and so many great artists that it was just, all right, great, and next week we'll have George Gobel or or Don Knotts or somebody like that. And these incredible one-of-a-kind duets that are, thank God for whoever videotaped this stuff and then threw it up on YouTube. But I'm loving that. And also, I haven't watched it yet, but on Epix, I really want to watch this Laurel Canyon documentary series about the 70s California scene and everything, and all the great artists that were all there. Jackson Browne, the Eagles, or I should say Eagles.
Oh, cool.
Not Eagles. And Linda Ronstadt and Joni Mitchell and everybody, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. So yeah, I'm excited to see all that shit.
That's nice.
There you go. Anything you and Crystal have watched lately that you want to recommend?
Yeah. I'm really enjoying the Harley Quinn show on DC.
Me too.
For the most part, it can get a little up and down, but that's no crime. We saw a great Romanian. There's a great movie house in New York City called the Film Forum. That obviously, like everything else, is closed down right now, and so you can actually rent movies on Film Forum. We saw a great. You rent them on the distributor's website, but the money goes to the ticket price.
That's fantastic. Oh, that's so good to hear. Yeah.
And it's filmforum.org for anybody who's interested and wants to help out. We saw a great Romanian crime picture called The Whistlers that was supposed to get American distribution this year, and I thought it was terrific.
That's cool. I love European crime procedurals. I think so many. Memory of a Killer always stands out in my mind of the last 20 years. Great Dutch procedural, and
it's a great movie. It's about this crooked cop in whatever the capital of Romania is, which is it's not Budapest. Is it Budapest? Anyway,
go on.
He goes to the Canary Islands to do he's pressed into service these gangsters. So most of the movie takes place actually in the Canary Islands off of Spain. So most of the movie's in Spanish. But anyway, it's great.
Cool. No, are we getting the title?
The Whistlers.
The Whistlers. Very cool.
The natives of the Canary Islands have this whistling language that he has to learn to execute this jailbreak.
One of the really good sub channels of public television in Chicago, I'm sure you guys have it in New York as well, and I'm guessing in some other parts of the country, is where they show tons of police procedural television series from all over the world, and you get like a great Italian show and great Swedish shows and everything, and it's. I mean, they're really. I mean, they're all with subtitles, but that's okay. And I'm always fascinated by those shows. I think they're amazing. The locales alone make the procedurals that much more interesting.
I bet. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, dude, this was awesome. I loved every bit of it. I thank you for hanging out and doing this. This was great.
Thank you guys for listening.
Absolutely. Action Presidents, the first 2 volumes out now.
In color.
Washington and Lincoln, and in 2 weeks, following up with Teddy Roosevelt and JFK, available at bookstores. And is it hitting the direct market as well, Fred?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, cool. I'm doing a comic book store Zoom event on Father's Day. Ryan and I.
Hey, that's awesome. Outstanding.
Which is
Fred, as always, man. You suggested this, and I'm so glad, and truly, I appreciate the effort you put into this and everything. Here, hold on. Oh, there you go.
Good to know. It's great. If you guys, in the next 48 hours, if you have a free 2 hours, check out the listers.
And MHZ is that channel, that sub-channel that public television offers cool. That has these great world TV, European crime shows that are absolutely worth seeing. So very cool, bud. And thank you very much. Awesome. And be well. And my best to Crystal.
And we'll have to do this in July, right? Because you're tied, and we need to get you off the schneid here. Should
we get another player, or do you just want to keep it me, you, and the crowd? This was great. I'll leave it up to.
I am the guest. You are the hosts. do whatever you want.
I thought this was fun. I'll be interested in the feedback.
I would be surprised if you could find someone better than you.
Oh, I think Gabe could have handled himself quite well in this thing.
That's true. Can we get Gabe? Maybe we'll get Gabe to do it next time.
And also my buddy Mike Cronenberg. Who else?
No, I said this might be a little early for him since he's on the other side of the
Well, that's true too. Mike Cronenberg, who does a lot of work with Tomorrows and is a graphic designer for them for a lot of their covers. He's from Noir Alley and works a lot with Eddie Muller.
I try to catch that show when I'm not playing video games.
I'm hip. No, and then and again also a great film festival. So he's a massive comic maven. So he might. Boy, I'll tell you, that would be an interesting matchup and stuff. So that's fun.
It took me a couple weeks to come up with these questions, so we'll see how long it takes us to come up with 4 more rounds.
Fred, I appreciated the effort, and absolutely, if if you're game, I'm game for doing it again. I want to play more. I would like to do more Word Balloon Lives where we are playing games, as our friend in San Diego said. We need more of that. And like I said, I've been doing a couple of them. Once a month at least or so. So this would be great to do more of this. So I'm all for it.
I love it. We'll do it.
Fred, thank you very much. I'm gonna let you go. Be well, and thank you everybody for watching once again. Word Balloon Live. It was a pleasure. We took a pause yesterday to acknowledge the tough times that we're all facing right now, and especially my sympathies lie with the protesters, because this is a really sad thing that needs to stop happening. And unfortunately, it's going to take serious change, as we all know, from the powers that be, to really settle people down. And I don't blame them for being angry. And this is ridiculous, and then so wrong on so many levels. So please support the proper charity events that are going to help people out, whether it's going to be in court or really just to build their businesses back. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this is an entertaining enough distraction. And back with more Word Balloon. We released today Jeff Johns' latest Stargirl recap. If you didn't see that on the feed, that's a new show. I've got conversations coming up with Joe Casada. The audio of this will also be released likely tomorrow. And other great conversations that I've got in the hopper that I can't wait to share with you this week and into the month of June. So until next time, I thank you very much for watching. Everybody be well. And take care of yourselves. Be happy, be safe, and be healthy.